All right, calling in from the Brickyard right now, the greatest spectacle in racing indeed. NBC Sports presents the 104th running of the Indianapolis 500 this Sunday on NBC. Coverage begins at 1 Eastern Time with our buddy Mike Tirico hosting along with guest studio analyst Danica Patrick at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And calling the race with Townsend Bell and Paul Tracy is none other than Leigh Diffey joining us from Indianapolis. How are you, sir?
Hi, Rich. I'm doing well. How about you?
I'm doing better for talking to you. How excited are you?
Really, very, very excited. We've just wrapped up the final practice, which is Carb Day, an old tradition of back in the day where they used to tune the cars and fine-tune the carburetors. Well, there hasn't been an Indy car with a carburetor in it since the early 1960s.
Yes, right.
But,
right.
Everything here is all about tradition, so they keep the name and. Basically, it's just the last opportunity for the field of 33 to practice and just go through some race simulations and see how the car feels in a lot of traffic as opposed to last time we were on track when it was qualifying. So, yeah, just one last hit out before things get real.
Well, speaking to the those who are, behind the wheel, obviously wanting fans there, it's a big part of it. It's not like that they haven't done this, i.e. race in a pandemic before. But what's it going to be like, you think, in that Brickyard on Sunday for these?
It's really quite sad, to be honest. I'm standing in the pagoda on the 9th floor right now in our commentary booth, and I'm looking over the front straight. I'm actually watching them paint the white line just before the yard of bricks, just to make sure everything looks terrific for Sunday. And it's really quite an eerie feeling. It's very surreal because of the enormity of the venue. And usually when we're here, there's in excess of 300,000 people here. And you look around, I'm looking out the windows now, and to see just the massive grandstands, but not the mass of people, it feels strange. I guess we're kind of getting used to it. But I think Sunday is when we will all, including the drivers, we will all feel the real impact, and we're greatly missing the fans. So it's something that I never thought I'd experience, and certainly not here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Well, I'm glad that we made it to this time. I mean, obviously, it's been several months since the race was postponed, but we made it. There's got to be a nice, great sense of accomplishment, however, that's overtaking the event. Right now, I'd imagine, Leigh.
Absolutely. And somebody told me the other day, which is a really good one-liner. This is the race that this pandemic can't stop. And I thought that's a pretty bold statement, but it's true and it's great. And Roger Penske, the billionaire businessman and 18-time winning team owner in IndyCar and the Indy 500, he said with the acquisition of the series and the acquisition of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway earlier this year, he said during the early phases of the COVID-19 pandemic, saying, look, we will have fans at the Indy 500. And that was a very bold and optimistic statement from Roger, but he's doing it because he has memories of when he came here in 1951 with his father, and he got to put on a helmet and sit in a race car. And that fan experience changed his life. And so, he is all about the fans. And so he took that bold step and made that bold statement because he thought he might be able to pull it off. In the end, like so many other sports, we've had to listen very carefully to local health officials, the CDC, government guidance, etc. And so it wasn't to be. But I think the next best thing is, it falls upon us on NBC Sports to give the fans at home the best show that we can. And
I'm sure you will Sunday at 1 Eastern Time, kicking it off with Mike Tirico. We got the voice of the Indy 500 on NBC, Leigh Diffey, joining me here from Indianapolis, right here on the Rich Eisen Show. That, again, will be streaming on Peacock for the first time, first of many for many years. We knock on Loose Sight right here if you're with me. That'll be on Monday, the day after the Indy 500 gets run. And, Leigh, it's interesting, you're probably going to get a new audience. There's going to be a lot of people, as you know, just eager to watch anything live, and certainly something that with a familiar name. And speaking of familiar names, look who's sitting there on the pole, and Andretti for the first time since 1987. It's Marco. You chit-chatted with him, and that's going to be part of the pre-race show. What did you glean from Marco to be sitting on a pole at Indy?
Well, he's thrilled. He's thrilled, and he feels a great sense of accomplishment. And many would say, well, it's only qualifying; it's not the race. But many say that, qualifying for the Indy 500 is almost like the second biggest race of the year. And he feels like it's the biggest accomplishment of his career. But he also feels very strong in that, because the larger group, in the motorsport fan base and around the world, it's all about Mario. And then to a lesser degree, it's about Michael, his son. That's Marco's father. And Marco was pretty headstrong in saying, I did this for me. This is about me. I'm blessed to be born into the Andretti family. But if you think about him, he's only 33. He was 2.5 months old when Mario sat on the pole in '87. So, he's had this incredible life, but he's also carried an incredible weight of expectation, because of the accomplishments of his grandfather and his father. And it's not like Marco hasn't done anything. He's had many great races and he's had victories in IndyCar racing. But, it's been that question. It's almost, it never goes away. When's Marco going to deliver? When's Marco going to win a big one? When's Marco going to do this? And I think and he's now 33, but even in his younger years, that's a pretty hefty weight to carry around. So I think there's been an enormous release and relief for him. And, wouldn't we be delivered an incredible story if he could go on and win on Sunday?
No, this may be a silly question, and if it is, I apologize, but I like asking those anyway. The tradition of milk drinking, the pandemic is not going to stop that, right? I mean, like whoever brings the milk is quarantining, and the construct of delivering the milk, everything's fine. We're ready to roll, correctly?
Rich. That's a great question.
Thank you.
And that's the first time I've heard it. And my guess would be, because I haven't heard anything to counter that, is yes, business is normal.
Okay.
Milk will be delivered.
Okay, right. Maybe a straw. Maybe a straw would be used to make sure that the jar is. I mean, just you know what I mean? Maybe that.
I know. Well, you've triggered a thought for me in that in Victory Circle. What happens now? Because that's usually frantic with hugs and kisses and everybody jumping all over each other. And so what happens now? Everybody's there masked and standing back? I don't know either.
So, Leigh, it's just, hey, look, that's something for you to go investigate. And you let me know what you've gleaned. I'll be watching the broadcast, and I'll know when you mention that. It's kind of like a little wink and a nod to me and the Rich Eisen Show, I think.
It'll be, and now folks, stand by. I found this out the other day, especially for Rich Eisen.
That's right. Exactly. The milk is fine. It's 2%. Just want to make sure. Or it's got to be full leaded, right? It's got to be full leaded for the Indianapolis 500. Okay, full whole milk. Very good. Hey, Leigh, have a great broadcast.
Well, it's the choice.
Yes.
Thank you. It's the choice of the driver, by the way. They could have soy milk if they wanted.
Really?
Whether they want
soy milk,
2%, it's their choice.
It's driver's choice?
Yeah.
Oh, I would go chocolate milk in a hurry.
So do they just have like 14 different types of milk on hand?
Maybe I probably know. Let's spitball this, Leigh. So you probably have to front load your selection. So the powers that be know what milk to have on hand as soon as the checkered flag flies. Right?
You've got it.
Okay.
They have like a cooler. They have a cooler that's delivered, and it has about, I think it can carry maybe 6 different types of milk, because most people will choose something similar. So it's like, 2%, or it's fat free, or it's full cream, or it's not like there's 10 different choices. They bring in a small cooler, and so fortunately that no one's thrown a curveball at them just yet.
I love it. It's like a presentation, like Lord Stanley's cooler being brought to the Brickyard. What's your weapon of choice if you had to choose, Leigh? If you were winning in the Indianapolis 500, what would be your choice?
Oh, I'd have a bottle of Pinot Noir.
There you go. I love it. I don't know. I'd go Cabernet. I like mine a little bit more leaded. So
a little stronger.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, Leigh, have a great broadcast. We'll be checking in.
Thanks, guys, and thanks for taking the time to talk about IndyCar. Really appreciate it. 1,000,000%.
You bet. On NBC Sunday, 1 Eastern Time. Mike Tirico and Danica Patrick will get you ready for the race that Leigh Diffey will call. Oh, absolutely. Is there a presentation of the cooler? Like, here they come. Here comes the cooler.
The guys in the suits come out. There's a red carpet.
Suits. Well, it would have to be fire suits, right?
Right.
For the Indy 500. They come out. presentation of the cooler, and they open it up, sort of like the suitcase from Pulp Fiction.
Exactly.
There's an aura coming from it.
A little light.
This is fantastic.
And therein,
Milk.
This is great.
no one drinks soy. Nobody's drinking soy, right?
No.
I don't know. I am not a soy.
I'm an
person.
almond guy.
Almond? Are you?
myself.
I've been enjoying.
I
the
actually
almond.
do a mix of almond and cashew.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
There's cashew milk.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And there's pea milk as well. PEA.
What?
Yeah. There's.
All righty then. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.